The windows smashed from shockwaves. As Tyrion was thrown out of them, but grabbed onto a metal rail. He fired a machine gun with his other hand, bullets sparkling as they flew. She turned to Acid, so that he could not harm her. Then she swung her sword, and Tyrion was sliced perfectly in half, from head to crotch. "Blasphemous humans, destroying our great species," said Tyrion as he died. The white sword disappeared. She had already used her 3 swings. His halves flew down to the city to smash on the ground, his organs trailing behind. As for the specters, they disappeared, with no one to conjure them. People were entertained by the spectacle of the falling ships from space, but then they all died in a nuclear holocaust. Truly the world would have been over, as the environment would have been completely destroyed, but Charles rolled his die, and it landed on 1. "One more chance for humanity," he said, and restored everything, except the aliens. But there was one left, actually. They didn't agree with the others in the first place, so they took an escape pod and went to another galaxy. Oh well. "My son is an embarrassment," said Charles. "He led to the destruction of planet Earth. How that boy angers me. I'll have him flogged." Pinching yourself to see if you're awake. That's how it feels when things go very well. Everything was beautiful, beautifully restored. People partied and played dance music, and chased butterflies, and stared at the sky, and smoked things, and drank things, and were happy. Paradise on Earth. "I need to know they're having paradise on Earth," said False Priest, looking in his crystal ball. No, this will not do. There's no paradise without me, is there, Thadmus?" "No, master. We'll let them celebrate for now. After all, they did do away with those pesky aliens." "Blue star, look, a shooting star," shouted Emerald. It whizzed by up above. "I can make shooting stars whenever I want," said Kenneth, as he sipped soda. "Look!" And he waved his hand and produced a meteor shower. The people nearby stood and watched in awe. Kenneth's eyes were smiling. He was pleased with himself. "Wow," said Emerald. "You think that's good? Watch this," said Blue Star, and he threw a golden orb into the sky, and the largest fireworks display anyone had ever seen took place. "Show off," said Kenneth sorely. Emerald laughed, something she did not do very often. Winter came, and Yetis attacked the city of Temperance. They had come down from the mountain nearby. They were assisted by snow foxes. Special snow foxes. Whatever they bit was frozen solid. This made up for the rather small size. They were actually a bit cute looking. Then when night came, the vampires woke up in the graveyard nearby and began to exterminate foxes. So the Yetis smashed the vampires. Many of them, anyway. "It's a turf war," said Kenneth. "Why should I care?" said Emerald. "You want the city to be run by Yetis?" "No, I guess not." Acid Witch donned her gear and sped off on her motorcycle. She brought a dark object with her, a black rod with a skull on the end. The rod was a flute which she used to summon an army of undead soldiers who went to fight the Yetis. The Yetis were falling badly. The vampires also. They ran back to their coffins. Acid Witch found their leader, a Yeti that was larger than the others. "Why are you here?" "We were ordered. The red light told us. It guided us here and told us that this was our land." "You're crazed. This isn't your land." "It is our land." And he smashed a large club on the ground, creating a shock wave, which knocked Acid Witch off her bike. Agony was in store for the fallen ice Yetis. Cremations and weather storms unwind themselves, unwind the monsters, drive them to destroy, mark them as evil. It's all they could be. Pain, the suffering that induces all evil, trash the world in all its luxuries. She smashes his club to pieces with a white sword. She held it over her head, the sword, and it emitted a bright light, a crushing light, an oppressive light. Why did she deserve such light? "Your light attracts my master," said Thadmus as the Yeti died. Acid Witch turned and faced him, studied him in the distance. Thadmus was wearing a suit and tie. his usual appearance, and his hair was slicked back extra neatly, but he would try to destroy her. The shining light was one swing. She had two more. He took out his red ball. He changed it into a sword of his own, a red sword. He held it over his head and unleashed red-hot judgment on Acid Witch. She screamed in pain. She dropped her sword. Red electricity traveled across her body. She flinched and fell, breathing heavily. Thadmus was a warrior like her, but if you asked him, he would say he was a businessman and eccentric. His ball changed to a gun, a red gun. He was going to finish her off with it. My perfect toy. How do you like it? You permeate my perfect world. Soon my master will need to be removed as well. Do you ever shut up? I won't shut up. Not for the likes of you. What are you? Only perfect, my dear. Now be a good girl and die. And he fired his gun. She formed acid and absorbed the impact. It did not harm her. It only scattered her. Some of the acid flew towards Thadmus. He changed his ball into a spinning blade and blocked it. Then he threw the blade at her when she reformed. She conjured dead people to take the blow for her. They reached for Thadmus. Oh, disgusting things! They'll ruin my suit. I paid a lot of money for this. He changed his ball into a beam saber and began cutting down her imperfect army. She kept playing her flute and summoning more. Her plan was to tire him out. My powers are on another level from yours, he said. He created a large explosion which destroyed much of Acid Witch's army. Then he warped in front of her and snatched the flute away. Quite a work of art, he said, studying it. Then he smashed it under his feet. But when one tampers with things that they do not understand, they sometimes suffer. Hundreds of dead souls flew out of the flute. What is this? He shouted. I don't know, said Acid Witch. The dead souls clinged on to him and dragged him into a black cloud. With a flash of red light, the cloud was dispelled. Then Thadmus re-emerged. He wore 5 red rings, one for each finger of his left hand. He swiped his hand to the side and shredded several souls with his red energy. Truth be told, Thadmus was quite powerful. He engaged in this spirit war for a while. Acid Witch slipped away. She would confront him another time. But then another problem. A maiden with frosty white hair stood in the middle of the road. Acid Witch slammed on her brakes, but slid on a fresh sheet of ice. She fell and rolled off her bike. What the hell are you doing in the middle of the road? You killed my Yetis. Oh, God. I was their mother, their creator. I see you freeze things. I melt things. I'm not a good match for you. Make this maiden a savior for the Yeti and the snow foxes. Make her die for them. But does she die for them? They are gone already. A tear falls from her eye. Blades form in her hands. Where is Kenneth? I need a new sword. She made an acid sword instead. They fought. They fought for hours. Acid Witch fell. She wasn't used to fighting for so long. A dragon with black armor ate the maiden, and Thadmus rode on top of it. It tried to eat Acid Witch next. On its head were 2 words, dusk and fusion. Fusion, said Acid Witch. And the dragon fused with Thadmus. And what a creature it was. It bothered her that it was a creature with many odd scales. Thadmus was destroyed by a meteor. To think that he died so soon. Plagued the world with love and justice, and it rejects you. Rejects the phoenix that was granted to it. Oh, that melodies would play in the sun, and that the emperor would find his host in the dragon. Cover this murderous intent for a while. Cover it in pieces restored to the land. You send dragons on journeys down corridors. You find yourself broken inside. Terribly broken inside. I filled myself with your bones so that you could vanquish me. I wasn't worthy of you. You were my judge, the judge of my humor, the judge of my malice. You were born to rule me. Better at everything. I only wanted you to touch me. That's all I wanted. Dragons marched towards the city of Temperance.